What's cool about this place is there's a lot of businesses that have been around a long time here, but there's a lot of young entrepreneurs in this area that are really trying to support their families with the dreams that they've had and all the hard work that they've been putting into it. I'm Pete Prevost, and I'm the president of Briarworks in Columbia, Tennessee. I've actually been the president of the company now for about 3 years, a little over 3 years probably. But I've been involved with the company since we started it in Nashville. I have a background in music. I grew up in California, in a town called Bakersfield, and I moved out here to Nashville about 15 years ago. And I had been doing music and been in bands for years. Ended up doing music for a long time, and that was my profession. But during that time, I already enjoyed collecting pipes. I would go to antique stores and search out old pipes. So a friend of mine in my band, we started making our own handmade pipes, just out of little blocks that were pre-drilled. So I did that for a few years and started learning the hobby, and I got a chance to meet a couple really great carvers and learn in their shops as well. And then that sort of developed into eventually sort of having a part-time job almost making handmade pipes. Fast forward several years, and in 2013, my friend that I was learning from wanted to start a pipe factory, and so believe it or not, there's really not much for U.S. pipe factories at all. We're basically the only Briar pipe factory in the U.S. Other than a couple of them that are still kind of brands that are active here, and then there's a corncob pipe factory up in Missouri. And so we really saw a need for a good quality pipe that's made in the U.S. And so that's when we first started Briarworks. So I've been living in Spring Hill for several years now, and I would come down to Columbia with my wife and kids. We'd go to Muletown, go to the coffee shop, the record store, a few different spots, and I just really saw this really cool thing happening down here, this growth and rebirth in the downtown area here. And it's funny because for years, living up in Spring Hill, I never ended up making it down here, and then the last few years really started coming down this way. We were in Nashville, and it's a great city to be in, but the rent's expensive, everything's very costly, and we didn't have a retail store, and we were just doing the manufacturing side of it, and we wanted to get some retail going. We wanted to have sort of a destination spot for people. And so that's when I started searching in Columbia, because I just saw something happening here that was really going to grow and be something cool. We wanted to be a part of it. Well, one thing that was really cool about moving down to Columbia was it's a big enough city that there's a lot of cool things happening, but it's small enough that it was really easy to get to know everybody. I first got connected with the Muletown guys and started hanging out with them, started meeting other local businesses. So it was really cool in that sense to just be plugged into the community and meet people that were actively involved in the government side of it as well. And so I think that has been a really neat thing for us being here. And it's grown a lot. And we've been open as a store for about 2 years now. And the changes that have happened in that short amount of time have been huge. We've seen so many places pop up. We've seen some things go away, but things just keep continuing to be added to the city, and they're all unique and they have their own special place. And I think what's cool about this city in particular is it seems like people really love supporting local businesses, and that just keeps growing more and more, where I feel like you just don't see that in a lot of bigger cities, and not even in a lot of small towns, but this town in particular, they really love to support the local businesses. I think we probably need to see in Columbia, I know that there's it's in the plans and it's being actively worked on, but like more opportunity for tourism. There's, I know plans for like a large hotel to be built here. Stuff like that's good for the city. It's a good city to visit, but we need like really nice places for people to stay as well. And there are some, but there's just not a lot of it. So I think that for the tourism side of Columbia is doing really great. The people that are running the Visitors Bureau, they're awesome. They're doing a great job. I think that continuing to do things like that are going to be a huge part of the city's growth. But I mean, I would love to see this area that we're in continue to grow as well. Like some more restaurants pop over in this side of downtown. We're neighbors with Asgard, and they're great neighbors. And I think we both want to see this little corner become a really good spot for people to hang out in. We've tried to really create a spot here that's comfortable for anybody. A lot of times cigar lounges, they get kind of classified as like snooty, or you got to be like some sort of like businessman, like in a suit or whatever. But we've tried to create a really down to earth environment that is welcoming to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, how you're dressed, like what your lifestyle is, like whatever. So we've really become like, I feel like a good welcoming spot for people. And we've really tried, even during this time, our hours are a little bit more limited than normal, but eventually we want to expand back to our longer hours. But we are open 7 days a week, and we'd love to have anybody come check us out, except you got to be 21.